diplomatic, discreet, patient, and charming. They have to be very charming. They have to have extensive knowledge of cuisine, themes, being they have a theme event like you're doing for honors night, staging, you learn part of your hours arranged, how you have to stage and get everything ready, and then staging the event. They need to know types of events, know all about rentals, entertainment, flower arrangement, and much more. As I previously mentioned, event planners could be owner-operator. At Orange Coast College, it's usually the event planners myself and my secretary. Could be the chef, could be the banquet manager, could be the catering manager. All depends. So what are the 9 things that an event planner needs to have in their planning manual? Well, they need to have a calendar or a daily planner, which includes their contact information, client contacts, times and dates. Catering menus, you need to have those, food and beverage, photos, food presentations, any recommendations you may have for a florist. You need to have the initial contact forms, preliminary client conversation and request. Proposal forms are important to have at Hyatt as well as at Orange Coast College. The proposal forms have the same formatting but are titled differently. Everything that we do here on campus is online. The menu's online, and they can print it off for hard copies. Think green as much as you can. Fifthly, you need contract forms. These should also be handy, especially when it is a simple catering, as the client might just want to have it done. If you're meeting at the client's site, you want to have the receipts ready for deposit. Contracts are especially important as they are a legal binding document. So remember, when you finalize everything, you want to make sure you covered yourself for liability as much as possible. Definitely have your standard language to protect you from liability. Have it reviewed by a lawyer. 6, you need a portfolio of ancillary service providers, rental companies, florists, music, bands, DJs, photographers, could be ice carving show, whatever you can think of. 7 is banquet event orders. Need to have those, your final billing forms. And 9th, you want to have follow-up correspondence. You want to say thank you. You always want to follow up. And that could be even further down the line, maybe at a certain time of year, where there are holidays in December. Send a little annual thank you. It's important to have with you as an event planner a camera, tape measure, a graph paper, pencil, etc. You want to get as much detail as you can. Use your iPhone. It has a nice memo recorder to give yourself memos. So you get a call, a fax, an email, maybe it's a message on your Facebook or text or whatever that says someone wants to use your catering services. At Orange Coast College, usually it's emails, phone calls. We have a form here that can be filled out online so that we can get some of their detailed information prior to really meeting with somebody. So the 4 things you really want to know is the date, really important to make sure that it's available for you to accommodate their needs and to see if the venue that they need is available. You gotta look at the room, the site needs to be determined. Besides, is the caterer available for that specific date? That's yourself. Many clients know that if he or she wants a specific site or space, that he or she needs to sometimes at least book a year in advance. Remember, I don't know if you saw it, the movie Bride Wars, where both friends had wanted to book a certain hotel at the same time, and got pretty nasty. So you want to make sure that your event's location is available. Secondly, you want to know how the client heard about you, how they learned about you. This is important for marketing reasons. That it can help you know that what you're doing is working or not working, and what you might implement a little better further down the line. And third, you want to find their location. Where do they want to have the event? Check availability. At Orange Coast College, we have a online way of looking at all the rooms to see what's available. So you want to make sure that you can do that. Fourth, how many guests? The planner needs to determine if the room is large enough for the capacity of the people, and if not, suggest a different room. Also, make sure the caterer can handle the size of the group. So on the phone, you had your initial your consultation on the phone. Now you want to have initial face-to-face meeting. Once the event planner has determined that needs of the client can be met, this is when you plan that face-to-face meeting. Maybe you go to their site or you invite them to your location. This is where the portfolio comes in handy, as you may be meeting the client at an off-site location. Let's say it's Nixon Library. Let's say it's at the beach somewhere. You probably need to meet with someone from the site location who handles the coordination of events. You want to take pictures of the site, especially if it's new to you and your catering staff. The second time you do an event, it might become a little easier, but the first time is always the hardest. In this meeting, the menu proposal will be reviewed and maybe a tasting will be planned. Beverage service is discussed, especially when alcoholic beverages are served. And I mentioned tasting there. Typically, when someone's planning a large event, they want to have a tasting of some different choices to pick a selection. So, some follow-up questions. You want to review or determine the occasion. Is it a wedding? Is it a party? Is it a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah? Usually the client has addressed this already. Show enthusiasm for their event. Show that you're really just excited about the wedding or whatever the event is. Is it daytime or evening? Portions can vary, so that can affect the cost of the event. Consumption of alcohol involved, because that affects pricing, different ways that you put it on the menu. Price is generally less for daytime events. What is your budget? I don't like to just put those words out to a client, hey, what do you want to spend? This needs to be asked carefully, as it is better to find out the tastes and likes of the client and form your event around that. I've been to catering seminars where the budget is not asked, but rather starting with what the guest likes. The guest will most likely spend more. So if you ask them their budget and they say X, Y, or Z, you might become lower. You might be pricing lower than that, and you'd want to get your most dollars that you can for your event. So you got to visit the off-site premise location. The event planner usually meets with the client at that site. The size of the location determines the potential number of guests that can be had at that location. It also can determine the amount of guests depending upon event type. A sit-down dinner is going to use more space than a cocktail reception. We're doing a cocktail reception for Honors Night, and if that was a sit-down, we need double the space. Smaller location, more guests may determine a reception style rather than a sit-down event. Brainstorming. This is the opportunity with a client to brainstorm about decor, table appointments, service, and menu items. We kind of brainstorm together and throw out some ideas and kind of get an idea of what the guest likes. Check out on page 167 of your book the analysis and key information sheet. This is a great form to use, and I advise using what's on this form for Honors Night. Those that are in charge of the timeline could use this form to help figure out our event and when certain things are going to be placed and set up, etc. This form helps the caterer in understanding the needs of his or her clients and guests, the limitations, potentials, and logistics of coordinating an on and off-premise event are immense. These forms will aid the caterer event planner in helping the client to visualize his or her event and to know the costs of providing the vision. If you look at that sheet, you'll see some important things, all the information that you need to have, billings, phone numbers, name, etc., who the party or event is in honor of, number of guests, truck departing time, truck arrival time, staff at the party, etc. You want to have all those times down. If there's wine or beverage, you want to list those. What time's the staff leaving? That's really important to know too, because that all figures into the cost of the event. If you look on page 172, and I believe I put on your blackboard for you guys, this is a rental form, and it's you can kind of use this for your checklist that you're doing for your hours arranged too. This is kind of the format that you really want to use. Nice, clean, and simple, able to check off, and then if you are renting that equipment, you can have a price for your customer. Look at page 171, you can see that you need information about cooking. Are you cooking on site, or are you just bringing and dishing up there, or are you setting a buffet? If you are cooking, you need to know where you're going to set up, or is there a kitchen available? If there's not a kitchen available, where is that location going to be? How big is it? Is there a way to clean dishes, wash dishes, etc.? Just some simple things on the cooking information there. Rolls of paper, plastic needed. Just a simple thing, you know, ceramic or saran wrap or plastic wrap. You really need that shrink wrap to wrap everything up to get back on the truck. You have to have all that information for your event. There's floral items, water source. Look further down, you'll see furniture. Is there furniture? Who's responsible for moving it? Are you? Is the caterer? If the caterer is, then you want to make sure that that's getting compensated for. So real important for the event planner is to have a menu with them, and you want to make sure that that menu is designed very good. You want to look at